for everyone else, I am very excited to introduce you to Chef Shonah Jefferson. Chef Jefferson began her culinary career at the tender age of 11. Now, Chef Jefferson, I have two 11-year-olds and they don't even know where the kitchen is. I, I am just impressed by helping her dad at his local Houston restaurant after spending many years in business. And I just want us to pause here. And as a practicing attorney, I love this so much. She returned to her culinary roots by managing the family restaurant for a few years while obtaining a degree in culinary arts from San Jacinto College. She has always had an interest in giving back to others because to whom much is given, much is required. Being a chef for seniors, owner, and personal chef gives her an opportunity to do well by doing good and to combine her love of people, business, and the culinary arts. She and her team of talented chefs serve seniors of the North and Southeast Houston metro areas. She attended the University of Texas at Austin, where she received a bachelor's in finance and planned two honors liberal arts. She also has a law degree from Georgia State University College of Law, and she has been a Chefs for Seniors franchise owner since October of 2018. I would like to turn it over to Chef Shonah Jefferson um, to get a demonstration today of healthy eating. All right, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to stop sharing so we can see your beautiful kitchen. All right.
All right, can you see?
Yes.
All right.
Pin you so that we can see you.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So welcome everyone. And today I'm going to take a few minutes to show you a really easy recipe. It's very healthy. It's a lemon garlic salmon foil packet with green beans and new potatoes. And the other great thing about this recipe is there's very easy cleanup because we're actually going to be doing everything in the foil packet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tilt my camera downwards so you can see my hands and see exactly what I'm doing. So hold on a second. Do this way. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me run through the ingredients really quickly. And actually what I'm going to do today in the interest of time is in the recipe, you're actually going to make 4 foil packets. And what I'm going to demonstrate to you today is actually how to make 1. And basically you're just going to repeat that 3 additional times. So the recipe calls for 1 pound of new potatoes. So nice red potato here. 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. So I have some minced garlic. 1 pound of green beans trimmed. So here are your green beans. 2 tablespoons of either canola or corn oil. I'm actually using olive oil. So here's my olive oil here. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then 4 of these wonderful skinless salmon fillets. And then 8 lemon slices. And then also I'm going to actually, there's a little bit of garlic powder here. Notice I said garlic powder and not garlic salt because one of the things that we want to minimize is the amount of sodium. So some garlic powder. And I'm actually going to add a little dill to my salmon. And also to punch up the flavor a little, I love onions. So I'm actually going to add some red onions to the recipe as well. So I've pre-sliced my red potatoes and I'm just going to drain them. I actually had them soaking in water while we waited, and the water keeps the potatoes from drying out and changing color. So I'm going to take my potatoes and put them in this bowl. And you want to use a microwavable bowl here. And well, actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to put the potatoes in here for now. And then what we're going to do with the potatoes is we're going to cover them with a little saran wrap. And we're going to microwave them for about 1.5 to 3 minutes. So I'm just going to microwave them on 2 minutes. And so while my potatoes are microwaving, I'm going to take a big bowl here, and I'm going to go ahead and add my green beans to the bowl. Now, one of the other things that you may want to do with your green beans, these are fresh green beans, and depending on how you like your green beans, whether you like them a little soft, or whether you like them al dente, whether you like them somewhere in between, you may want to also microwave the green beans along with the potatoes so that after we finish baking it, the green beans will be the exact texture that you like them. So everybody has their own preferences for how they like green beans. The great thing about this recipe is it's very versatile. So the other thing I'm going to go ahead and do while my potatoes are in the microwave is I'm going to add the minced garlic to the bowl, along with some salt and some pepper and the oil. And I'm just going to mix this up a little bit while I'm waiting for my potatoes. All right, so here are my potatoes, taking them out of the microwave. And microwaving them ahead of time also allows the potatoes to cook a little and soften. So then we don't have to bake the foil packets as long, because the other thing that you don't want to do is actually potatoes and the green beans are going to take longer to cook than the salmon itself. And you don't want to overcook the salmon. So we're going to mix all of this together. Okay, now that that's mixed together, we're going to take a foil packet, or actually a piece of foil. The recipe says about 30 inches long, and it says to actually fold it in half to make a square. I'm leaving my foil packet, my foil oblong, because this is extra duty heavy foil, so I don't need to fold it in half, because I want to have a lot of extra space in which to fold it and create a nice packet that's going to generate a lot of heat in order to more evenly cook the salmon and the vegetables. So now we're going to take the potatoes and the green beans mixture with the salt, the pepper, the garlic, and the oil. And we're going to put that in the middle of the packet, like so. You want it to be a little orderly so it'll cook more evenly. Okay. And next, we're going to take our salmon. And this is about a 4-ounce piece of salmon. I think the actual serving size for fish is actually 6 ounces per serving, but that's a pretty big piece of fish. And so a lot of people can't eat a 6-ounce piece of fish in one sitting. So you just have to base it on your appetite. And so 3 to 4 ounces is still adequate. Now we're going to put a little garlic powder on top. And I'm actually going to add some dill, since this is salmon. And then 2 slices of lemon. Add the lemon on top like that. Then the next thing we're going to do is just take this and fold it over down the middle and on the sides. And you want to make sure it's tightly sealed, because as it cooks, it's going to steam. And I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees. So I'm gonna take the packet and put it on a sheet pan. And so when you make this at home, if you follow the recipe, you're actually gonna have 4 of these. Now the other great, and so we're gonna put this in the oven for 20 minutes. And I've already preheated the oven, so I'm gonna put that in there for 20 minutes. The great thing about this recipe is that for those of you where you don't have a big family and you're just cooking for 1 or for 2 people, all you have to do is scale the recipe down. So if you're cooking for 2 people and you just want 2 servings of this, you can just cut the recipe in half. If you're just cooking for 1 person and you just want to make 1 packet, you can divide the recipe into fourths. So it makes it really easy for cooking for smaller numbers of people. So what I've done ahead of time is I've actually baked a couple of the packets here. So when you take the packet out of the oven, you want to make sure that you fold it open away from you so that the hot steam does not burn your hands. And so this is what the packet looks like once it's done. See, you've got the great looking, your red onions, you got your onions, you got your potatoes, your green beans, and the dill combined with the lemon is gonna bring out the great flavor of the salmon. Now, for those of you who don't like salmon, and someone asked a great question earlier about fish, and salmon is very high in omega-3s and in monounsaturated fat, so it's a great choice for a heart healthy diet. But for those of you who maybe are not fond of salmon, or if for some reason you are minding your pennies and salmon is not something that's affordable for you, there are some other options. And I've actually created another foil packet here using tilapia instead. And the other great thing about this recipe is it's customizable just based on your likes and your dislikes. And so what I've actually done with the tilapia is instead of using green beans, I've actually substituted broccoli, carrots, and cauliflower for the green beans. And I've still used the lemon, the same seasoning, and the red onions. So if you are not fond of salmon, or if salmon doesn't quite fit your budget, feel free to choose a different type of fish that you do like. So this is the way you can do it with tilapia. Some other customization ideas for you are, we talked about color earlier. So color is really important. So I mentioned broccoli you can use, red or green bell peppers, cauliflower, carrots. I showed you the red onions earlier. Some other options is if you are diabetic and you are watching your carbs and you want to eliminate the white potatoes, you can eliminate them, or just substitute a sweet potato for the white potato. And you can do it the same way, cut it lengthwise and then slice it, microwave it first, and it will come out exactly the same. I mentioned the seasonings, adding dill weed or any other types of herbs is always a great way to boost flavor or change the flavor profile of the recipe. Some of the other things that you may want to try is maybe this is something called Chesapeake Bay seasoning. So it's a seafood seasoning. The one thing that you want to do is anytime you're going to use any sort of seafood seasonings, or even a Cajun seasoning would be great with this, is always read the labels to look at the sodium levels. You really want to pick seasonings, if you're going to use them, that have no added salt or very, very little added salt. And the way you can tell is by looking at the ingredients. And if it does have salt added to it, you want to make sure the salt is towards the end of the ingredient label as opposed to the beginning. So we still want to focus on watching the sodium, but adding different types of vegetables or changing up the vegetables is another way to have a much heart healthier diet and
I'm sorry.
increase your consumption of foods, and of vegetables and healthy fish.
Chef Shonah?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I think we have a question from Ms. Marianne.
Oh, sure. Hold on a second. I'm going to move my camera so you can see my face again. Okay. All right, I'm back. Okay, I'm ready for questions.
Ms. Marianne? Did you have a question?
The question I had was, what about chicken? Can you substitute that for salmon?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can substitute chicken. Just make sure that it's preferably boneless, skinless chicken.
Mm-hmm.
You can use chicken breast or chicken thighs. You may have to adjust the amount of the cooking time to make sure that the chicken is done. You want to make sure that you cook the chicken to at least 165 degrees. But yes, you can substitute chicken.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
That was
so the one thing.
I feel like
go ahead.
I feel like I just learned about 5 different recipes at once, so I am excited.
Yes, the great thing about this recipe is it is very versatile. And then the other thing that I love about it is cleanup is very, very easy. And it's something that you have, since you mentioned you had 11-year-olds, it's something that they could even do with you in the kitchen, and each person can customize their own packet. And so that's the great thing too, is that you don't have, if you have kids and you want them to eat healthier, using this recipe, no one complains about, well, I don't like broccoli, or I don't like, green beans. Each person can customize the packet based on what they like.